The Mad Masked Murderer has rained fear down on the lives of many, but on the other side of that mask is something worth fearing more. And today we're looking at two of the greatest of dead people. Deadpool, the Merc with the Mouth, and Jason Voorhees, the Camp Crystal Lake Killer. Today we'll be looking at their weapons, armors, and skills to find out who would win in a fiction collision. Before we dive in though, just want to say that the only reason I'm doing this one again is because it's been well over a year or two, and I just wanted to settle the debate once and for all. Wade Wilson was just your average mercenary. You know the deal. Shooting, stabbing, kidnapping, and beating the shit out of people. But one day Wilson was diagnosed with cancer. But like a really, really bad kind of cancer. It was everywhere, and it didn't look like it was going to stop anytime soon. That was until Wade got in contact with the organization called Project K. And by going to those that worked at Project K, Wade was eventually turned over to the monsters at Weapon X. This is where Wade's life was changed forever. At Weapon X, Wade was experimented on, cut, burned, beaten. That is until he got his mutant powers. The man at Weapon X injected Wade with some of Wolverine's DNA. Thus he got his healing factor. And super strength, speed, stamina, and durability. You know, I'm not sure how DNA gives you the whole bundle of mutant powers, but hey, who am I to say? After that, Wade went on to kill every scientist, nurse, or other asshat that put him through those awful tests. And once every last pint of blood had been spilled, Wade took the name Deadpool.
All you need now is a suit and a nickname, like Wade the Wisecracker, or Scare Devil, Mr. Never Die. Ah, shit.
What?
I put all my money on you, and now I just realized I'm never gonna win the,
Deadpool.
Deadpool went on to become one of the most feared and well-trained mercenaries of the Marvel Universe, learning and becoming better at so many different forms of combat, those including excellent gun training, mastering swordsmanships, knives, shurikens, karambas, and other bladed weapons, not to mention his mastery of dancing, lovemaking, and ultimate ass-kicking on any fool who wishes to put down the Merc of the Mouth. When it comes to weapons, Deadpool comes packing. His weapon carry is limitless. No, I'm serious. He has the ability to use any weapon. This is due to something called his Magic Satchel, a cartoon-based item that allows Deadpool to pull anything out of it. This includes swords, most commonly his nanoceramic fiber blades, knives, guns, explosives, and apparently an Infinity Stone Ultra Continuity, and most importantly, his Carbonadium Sword, the weapon he used to kill Wolverine. Speaking of killing, Deadpool has done some incredible shit. He's killed the Marvel Universe, like mentioned before, and multiple other versions of himself. He's been able to beat the gun reflexes of dozens of Hydra agents, beat an army of ninjas while on the phone, take down dinosaurs, dodge close-range sniper shots and other bullets, endure a trade center building coming down on him, being melted, being burned to dust by Thor. He even beat an obstacle score built for the Iron Man suit, and take on and walk away from fighting Wolverine, the Hulk, Red Hulk, Thor, Iron Man, Daredevil, Spider. He can even hold his own against the likes of Thanos. Oh, and actually this one's pretty important. While Deadpool was cursed by Thanos to never actually die, said curse has been lifted. But this means practically nothing to anyone who's planning on killing him, who isn't equipped with a weapon that could erase every atom that makes up Deadpool. At the present day, Wade Wilson had turned his awful disease into a hero's call for justice.
Maximum effort!
Bullied to the point of death, a life of fear and inner anger. Leading a life based off revenge, this is the story of Jason Voorhees. Born disfigured to a rape victim of a mother, and raised alongside an abusive fill-in father, life wasn't easy. But things looked to turn around when Pamela, his mother, got a job as a cook at Camp Crystal Lake.
Preparing meals? Here, I was the cook.
Little did she know, this was her worst mistake. After a mere couple months, Jason had become the main center of harassment at the camp, and on one fateful day...
Did you know that a young boy drowned the year before those two others were killed? The counselors weren't paying any attention. They were making love while that young boy drowned.
Jason was pushed into the lake and sank to the very bottom. But this wasn't the end for Jason. In her grief, his mother killed any teens that came to Crystal Lake to make up for her son's death. She did everything to try to get Jason back. She went as far as to get the Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead. But the night of her death was the same night Jason came back. Jason would take his mother's head, and the machete that took her life, and begin anew. That was till his call of duty was revealed. He was to kill anyone who entered the lands of Crystal Lake again. This led Jason down a trail that made him the most feared monster he is known as today. Once those scenes started showing up, Jason had shown his inhuman abilities, being able to endure beatings that would put down any man. He can survive having an axe put right through his head, beatings via a blunt pipe, as well as having a machete cut right down through the center of his chest. While he is quite durable, his strength level is definitely inhuman. He can lift himself while hanging on a noose, crush human heads, smash through windows without even flinching, and bust through wooden doors, and toss around all types of people. Jason fought off all of those things that entered his turf for the years. That is until he died again at the hands of Tommy Jarvis. But because Tommy had PTSD, he went and pierced a metal pole right through Jason's lifeless corpse. Bad move on his part. Not only did this bring Jason back, his inhuman abilities were amplified. Now that Jason was back in action, he would make the most of it. Now that he was even more supernatural, he was stronger, more durable, and had some more powers in the back. After his re-resurrection, Jason was back on the hunt, and now that he's better than before, his arsenal was expanded, and skill sharpened. Jason's arsenal consists primarily of his trusty machete, not to mention some knives. While this would be bad for Jason, we will be granting him every weapon he's ever had. This includes axes, pitchforks, arrows, handsaws, a weed whacker, what? An air horn, what? A lamp? Either way, Jason doesn't even need his weapons most of the time. Jason lift and toss cars, stomp through two human bodies, swing around helicopter blades with ease, but that's only a small summary, so get ready to have your ears blown off. Jason has also been seen fighting off 4 Freddy Kruegers all at once, uprolling a rock and duck thing, what? Bringing it down, smash people's heads in, bust through doors, walls, and floors, boards, can bisect a man cleanly down the middle. Also, Jason can throw an oak tree several yards away. Looking at the size of the tree, and also the height of these two teens having some fun, the tree's diameter is roughly 7 inches tall, and a length of roughly 90 inches, so using the formula for volume of a cylinder, pi times radius squared times height, in doing so we get a volume of 346,000 cubic inches, roughly 200 cubic feet. Now an oak tree weighs 45 pounds per cubic foot, thus this log would have weighed 9,000 pounds. And probably his best feat, Uber Jason. No, I don't mean Uber Jason himself. We're not using Uber Jason. Rather the fact that normal Jason could hold his own, and although it didn't last long, he was able to take advantage over Uber Jason. We can't forget his durability and impressive healing factor. Jason can survive getting hit by a car and then being slammed into a tree, or getting driven into icy water, being bombarded with bullets by different military and FBI, having his eyes stabbed, walking off being impaled, getting his insides scrambled via chainsaw hand by the famed Ash Williams, having limbs sliced off, stabbed, having a car explode in his face, falling off a mountaintop, having a grenade go off right in front of him, and when he was Uber Jason, he survived re-entry into Earth's 2 atmosphere. By the time we reached present day, Jason had finally come to rest, racking up well over 150 kills, even more when you look at the comics and books. All in all, it's good to see Jason can finally hang up his machete and hockey mask. Both figuratively, and yes, literally. After looking at everything given to us, the winner is Deadpool. But both have healing factor and superhuman durability and strength. The levels of superhumanness vary. Yes, Jason can cut off heads, snap bodies, and punch holes in bodies, rip off limbs, toss around large logs, and toss people, but Deadpool's on a whole other level. While we can argue that Jason is stronger, Deadpool can keep up strength-wise with the likes of Wolverine and Captain America, which means he can lift anywhere from 3,000 pounds, and put out forces of over 10 tons, and push objects weighing 58 tons. So when it comes to strength, Deadpool claims this category. And when looking at their arsenal, Deadpool wins again too. If we gave Jason every weapon he had, it just doesn't compare. Jason has knives, machetes, bladed wheeled whackers, medical saws, wielding Freddy Krueger's severed arm, a large knife attached to a stick. But Deadpool can use all those things. He can also use guns, ranging from pistols to shotguns to LMGs to SMGs to bazookas to grenade launchers to laser guns. But the one thing that really gives Deadpool the win in this category is his carbonadium sword. You know, the sword that can get rid of healing factors. Deadpool wins in this category too. And looking at their skills, I'm just going to be blunt, Deadpool wins. When comparing a highly trained mercenary Jason, yes, can survive in the woods for decades alone, but comparing a forest survivalist to a mercenary, the mercenary wins. And finally, the most important thing in this fight, healing factors. Jason can heal from stabbing, slashes, axes being driven into his head, a house coming down on him, surviving the explosion that brought the house down, being carbon frozen for hundreds of years, and at best, in a different form, re-entering Earth's atmosphere. But that's just nothing! Again, Deadpool is so much better. He can heal from being melted, having one of the Trading Centers coming down on him, being eaten by Moby Dick, have a helicopter come down on him, decapitation, dismemberment by Wolverine and other bladed fighters, having his brains blown off, split in half, heart ripped out, turned into dust. These feats just do not compare when you really look at it. Thus, Deadpool wins, just like in everything else. And just in case you want to argue that Jason should win, I want to tell you that the current reason Jason died was because the guy's brain turned into a slip and slide via machete. Zombie Jason was always beat via neck snap and then put underwater, whereas Deadpool is currently dead because two universe Earths crash right into each other, destroying all the atoms that make up Deadpool. So tell me, which one seems like they last longer in a fight? Hey, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more, and comment below if you have suggestions. And like always, it's time for a recharge.